I want y'all to know I was raised on Texas Panhandle on the outskirts of Amarillo, and we lived in the extreme outskirts of town, and where our whole neighborhood was surrounded by empty fields. So I grew up playing in these fields all day long. We'd go out there from sea to can't see every day. Never wore a shirt, didn't know what suntan lotion was, and didn't wear shoes. We played all day long. I never got hurt. And in the fields, all was there was tumbleweeds, but it was all kinds of animals. There were snakes and horned toads. And oh, by the way, you want to make your sister mad? Put a horned toad in her bed. And we had lizards, and we had salamanders, and coyotes, and prairie dogs, and all manner of animals to play with. Now, one story I want to tell you about, this one field we played in had a road, a dirt road right through it, and whenever rain rolled hard, that road would flood, and the water would get going real fast. And what we would do, we'd go to Mr. store. He had a store down in the corner, and we'd get a number 2 plastic jug that restaurants buy mustard in. Y'all seen them? Big old round top. And we'd take that down there and we'd put it in the water and collect up whatever was in there, snakes or horned toads or whatever have you. And we capped off chased girls with it. Had a lot of fun. Well, this one particular time, the water was going real fast, and I put the jug down in there to fill it up, and something real heavy got in there because I could hardly pick it up. It was real heavy, and there's about 10 of us out there. We're all 8 or 9 years old kids. Didn't know no better. Picked this jug up, put the cap on, and you could see the snakes inside of it, but it was so heavy, I think there was a rock in it. So we thought we'd dump the bucket out and see what was in there. Now y'all get this picture. A bunch of little 8 and 9-year-old boys, no sense at all, in a big circle, about to dump this jug full of snakes and whatnot in amongst themselves. And we did. But something stayed in that box, and I couldn't get the thing out of the jar, so I turned the jar upside down and I whopped it on the bottom, and out come a full-grown water moccasin. He was wanting to fight right there on the spot, and I was the nearest one to him. And everybody took off running after they wet their pants, and left me standing all by myself with Gary. Gary means by herself with this 9-foot snake looking us in the eye. Well, Gary kicked some sand in that old snake's head to distract him. While he was looking at Gary, I reached down and grabbed him by the back of his head. I picked him up, and as soon as I did, he wrapped himself around my arm. I had a 10-foot snake on my arm. Scared to death, and Gary ran off too. So I'm standing in the middle of the field with a 10-foot snake in my hand. He's trying to bite me, and I'm scared to death. I'm crying. I done wet my pants too. I didn't know what else to do, so I walked home with a 12-foot snake in my arm. Well, I got home. My mama was a little bitty thing. She wasn't but 5 foot tall, and she was raised in New England by she was a proper New England woman. And I walked in the kitchen and said, Mama, what do I do? I got a 15-foot snake on me. My mama cried, screamed bloody murder, ran out the door. Left me stand in the kitchen with a 15-foot snake in my arm. And I'm only 9 years old. And he's working around trying to bite me. Well, I didn't know what to do. I walked outside with this, now it's an 18-foot snake, on my arm, trying to figure what to do with him. I said, well, I get Miss lives across the street from us, and she was married to a railroad engineer. Miss was the meanest woman that ever lived. She was forevermore mean. I went over there and got Miss, and I'm crying by them. Miss, this is killing me. I went off my bed. I'm bubbling. I don't want to say anymore. Miss, one look at me, looked down her head. How did you do this? And I told her. I said, get this thing off me. He's 22 feet long now. What do with him? Well, Miss took one look at me, walked over and grabbed that snake and wrapped him up on me and beat him to death with her bare hands and threw him in the trash. Well, my mom started drinking that day. And that's the truth. Thank you.